It's Ask the Attorney Friday. Colorado's best legal expert, Phil Harding, is here to talk about expert witnesses. I brought you some gifts.
Thank
for
you.
Fitness Friday, your plant-based stuff, because you're
Delish.
always on the go. You're always busy. What are we talking about today?
Well, this afternoon I'm going to be in court arguing about expert witnesses, so I thought we would talk about expert witnesses and really what is an expert. So expert witnesses, and you hear about them all the time that testify in trial. They can be anything from your treating doctor, chiropractors, or even engineers to tell you how an accident took place. I've even had a brake technician testify and be endorsed as an expert. So let me tell you, and there's a rule of evidence in Colorado that says what an expert witness is, and it says a witness qualified as an expert by either knowledge, skill, expertise, training, or education may testify thereto in the form of an opinion or otherwise. This is why this is important. So regular witnesses can only say, this is what I saw, this is what I heard, but they can't give an opinion as to, let's say, who caused the accident. Expert witnesses can give opinions once they're endorsed and once they're accepted by the court as an expert witness. Now, you need to make sure that you have the right expert, and I'm going to take you through a real-life case that I had.
Okay.
I had a bicycle accident where this guy had a head injury, right? And a car hit him. He went off, hit his head. They did, after his accident, they did an MRI.
Okay.
They did CTs. Didn't show anything.
Nothing.
But my client had all the symptoms of having a mild traumatic brain injury, and we're going to talk about this, but let's go to it. So what I did is I found a neuroradiologist that works out of Vegas, and he did a special MRI, and it's called a Tesla-3 MRI. And so what it is, it's a stronger magnet, so it shows so much more detail. Look in that upper right-hand image. You're going to see some arrows, and if people can't see this very well, I know it's on the TV screen, so it's that hard. I can email this to you, but you will, if you see these lines, these little dots. So that's called coop contra coop shearing, where the neurons actually got sheared, and so that's why there were these lesions all over the brain that.
But a regular MRI CT scan did not pick that up.
Showed nothing, right? So that's why you get this. And look, before the defense was claiming, look, there's no brain injury. We looked at the CT, we looked at the MRI. So let's talk about some of the symptoms that my client had. He was tired all the time, sensitive to light. Everyone said, man, he gets angry all the time.
Yeah.
This expert that I got, he's in Vegas, right?
Right.
He tells boxers when they need to stop boxing. Who knows more about brain injuries than
He
someone?
sure does.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned he's from Las Vegas. Do you have to travel around the world to find these expert witnesses, and how do you find them?
Sometime, well, if you have a good attorney, they can find the expert witnesses for you. But let's talk about there are two different types of experts, so that if you're a juror, you'll know about this as well. There's what's known as a retained and non-retained expert. Let's talk about non-retained first. A non-retained expert is someone like a treating provider or your physical therapist, chiropractor, dentist, any of that kind of stuff. A retained, that's really one of those hired guns that you hear about that's just paid to come and testify. Someone like the defense hires what's known as an independent medical exam or engineers to say, oh, they really weren't that injured. The best doctor for you, the best expert, is to get your own doctors to come in and testify, especially if they knew your pre- and post-accident condition. That's what jurors want to see. That's what they want to hear.
All right, we're moving on to that little black box in your car. You say we have one in our cars kind of like airplanes do.
Right, and you get experts to read this. So there's something in your car, it's called an EDR, and that stands for Event Data Recorder. Whenever there's an event, it records like 20 pages of data. And so here's just one page, and you see all these graphs up there. First of all, that top one is the RPM, and on the far left-hand side is 5 seconds before the incident. Or, the far right is at 0, which shows at the accident. So you can see that someone was revving up their RPM. This tells you when someone put their brake on, how fast they were going. So when you're in an accident and there's questions as to who's at fault, make sure you talk to an attorney immediately so they can have an engineer pull this EDR and get this data, because it'll show you and the other side how fast they were going, when they stepped on the brake, if they stepped on the brake. And it tells other stuff like, did the airbag go off? Why didn't it? Were the seatbelts on? All of that. I mean, it's just such important data to grab and get a hold of. So
yeah, and you're on your way to court?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you are dressed up. You have your nice shoes on, so I know you're going to court. Take your stuff so you stay nice and healthy.
I will. I'll eat them.
If you have a question for our legal expert, go to kwgn.com, click on Colorado's Best. You're going to see Phil Harding's photo on the right. Just click there and send in your questions. He's going to answer each question personally and confidentially. And to reach Harding and Associates directly, call 303-762-9500. You can also get a free consultation anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.org. Coming up on Colorado's